What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel, or it's the first time here. Welcome. Today we are going to be doing another one of my favorite things to do on my channel, which is my 5 best 5 worst series. I feel like I haven't done one of these in a really long time. So if you're new to my channel or you're unfamiliar with my 5 best and 5 worst series, I basically just talk about my 5 favorite and my 5 least favorite products from either a particular makeup category or a specific brand. If you want to see the other 5 best and 5 worst videos that I've done in the past, I will link the playlist that I created down in the description box if you want to check it out, and I'll also put like a little card somewhere on the screen if you want to look at them after you watch this video. And today we are going to be talking all about primers. I feel like primers are a makeup product that can sometimes be overlooked, but primers can really make or break the way your foundation looks in your face. So because there are so many different types of primers out there on the market, there's moisturizing ones, oils, pore filling primers, silicone based primers, hydrating primers. There's just so many types of primers out there. So I really wanted to give a little bit of everything in today's video, so I hope you guys find it helpful. Please let me know in the comments some of your favorite as well as some of your least favorite primers. I always love stalking the comment section and just writing down all of your recommendations and sort of just keeping in mind all the products that you guys also don't really love so much. Let's get right into it. So first, starting off with my favorite type of primer, which is the moisturizing primer. Now, moisturizing primers for me are my absolute favorites just because I find that they're sort of like no frill primers. They're not necessarily going to make your foundation last longer, but they will 100% just make your makeup sit on your skin so much better. If you go into a makeup application with your skin just not being moisturized enough, you are not going to have a great time with trying to make your foundation look flawless. It's just going to be a little bit more difficult. Whereas if you go in with like a really hydrated base, if you have your skincare and then a moisturizing primer on top, your foundation will just go on so much better. Moisturizing primers also tend to work really well for all different skin types. As long as it's not like too oily, it will work great for an oilier skin type and of course a drier skin type. My all-time favorite priming moisturizer, you could probably guess it if you've been around on my channel for a while, is the Hello Fab Coconut Skin Smoothie Priming Moisturizer. The consistency of this primer is really what I love most about it. It's not super thick, but it's also not like too gel-like or runny in consistency. So this sort of sits right in the middle, hydrates the skin, but it sinks in so it doesn't make your skin feel like oily or greasy, which is why I think it works really great for not only drier skin types and normal skin types, but also oilier skin types. Like, this is not going to make your skin feel slick. This primer also goes with absolutely every single foundation that I want to pair it with because it's not silicone based or oil based. It won't break up specific foundations. This will just go with everything. So I think that if you are looking for a primer that's just like an all-around great base for your foundation to sit on, that you don't really have to think too much about like whether or not it can pair with one foundation or the other, then this is definitely a really great option. And it also smells like coconuts, which is never a bad thing. So next, moving on to my favorite oil-based primers. Now, these are definitely not geared to those of you who have a more oilier skin type. These are way more like suited for those of you who have more of a drier or normal skin type. And I'm sure, I mean, for obvious reasons. So my favorite oil-based primer is the Hourglass number 28 primer serum. And I was so hesitant to include this in today's video because it is such an expensive product. And I was really like looking through my collection trying to find another oil-based primer that I liked as much as this, but I really don't have something. So there are a few different reasons why I really love oil-based primers. The first reason is that it will hydrate my skin like no other primer. And oil is obviously like super hydrating, so when my skin is feeling like it's gonna crack off of my face, I always go towards something like this. And even though the number 28 is an oil-based primer, this does not make your skin feel like super slick and just like an oily mess. It will still absorb into the skin and it won't leave like an oily film or like an oily residue on your face. I also love using primers like these in foundations that I find are just a little bit too matte for my preferences. For example, the Fenty foundation is one of my favorite foundations, but it can sometimes be just a little bit too drying for my skin. So I will sometimes apply just like a very small amount of this primer, either mixed into the foundation or I'll just like apply it on my face before I apply the foundation. And it will give the foundation just a little bit more of like a natural finish and it will cut the matteness. And they also do have like little mini sample sizes of this, so you don't have to go out and right away like splurge on like the larger size. You could always try out the small little travel size version. So as for number 3, let's talk about some silicone based primers. Now for me, I am personally not like the biggest fan of silicone based primers just because most of the time most silicone-based primers pill on my skin. Pilling is basically when the product like balls up on your face, and it is like the most annoying thing. And I found one finally that works really, really beautifully, that actually provides like a really smooth base for your foundation to sit on. So if you want a primer that's gonna like fill in your pores and give you more of like that blurred skin effect, then the Ordinary Hydration Silicone Primer is by far my favorite. So if you have larger pores and you sort of just want to like minimize their appearance, then I would recommend checking this one out. It doesn't just like smooth the pores, but I also find that it is a little bit more on the hydrating side as well. Like when you apply it to your skin, it really feels really nice and silky. Like it doesn't feel like it's mattifying or drying out the face. And I also would recommend for more like silicone based primers not to apply it all over the face. I would really only apply these types of primers in the areas where you feel like you want to blur or fill in your pores. So usually that's like the cheek and the nose area or the chin area. It's sort of unnecessary to like put it absolutely everywhere. You could even mix a primer like this with a more glowy primer on like the tops of your cheekbones if you want to like blur the center of your face but keep the outside of your face looking a little bit more glowy, then that is also another option that you can do. And I would also recommend for these types of primers that you actually press it into your skin rather than like rubbing it. I find that that really like gets it into the pores and it just helps it do its job a little bit better. The Ordinary is also a very inexpensive brand, which means this is a very affordable product. You could find the Ordinary products on Beautylish, and actually I believe you could find them at Sephora now too. A+ for that. Next, let's talk about glowy primers. Glowy primers are also some of my favorites when my skin is feeling extra dull. So I have two favorites here. One is a drugstore option. This is the L'Oreal Magic Lumi Light Infusing Primer. This is like a classic. I feel like everybody's been talking about this product for a really long time. What I really love about this product is that it's not too intense. Sometimes more glowy primers could literally make it look like you spread a liquid highlighter all over your face, and I feel like that's not always the best because that could, you know, accentuate pores, accentuate texture, and that's not what you want from a glowy primer. You really want a glowy primer to just give your skin that glow that's subtle enough that it just makes it look like you're naturally glowing and not that you're like blinding everybody with your face. So glowy primers are also really great if you don't really want to wear makeup on a particular day, but you still want your skin to look like it has some life to it. Sometimes I like to take a primer like this and just put it all over my face, not even put foundation, maybe put just a little bit of concealer underneath my eyes, and I feel like I'm always good to go with just that. You could also use these in a few different ways. If you want to create your own like glowy tinted moisturizer, you could put like 2 pumps of this on the back of your hand and then just a little bit of your foundation, mix it together, and you will just create this like gorgeous glowy tinted moisturizer. Now a more high-end glowy primer that I've been really, really loving lately is this Bobbi Brown Extra Illuminating Moisture Balm. Now this was actually recommended to me by one of you guys. I think it was the first testing my subscribers' favorite makeup video that I did. I tried this out, and ever since that video I have not been able to stop using this. This stuff gives your skin the most gorgeous glow. It's a little bit more intense than the L'Oreal Magic Lumi primer that I just showed you guys. It has a little bit more of an intense sheen. What I also really like about this is I feel like it's almost a glowy primer mixed in with more of a moisturizing primer. This is definitely a pricier product. Even myself picking this up for the first time, like I was so hesitant because this is such an expensive primer, but I've been using it so much and I've been enjoying it so much that for me I really do feel like it's worth it. But again, the Magic Lumi from L'Oreal is of course a more affordable option and it does a fantastic job. So those are my 5 favorite primers, but I do have one more product that I want to talk about that isn't necessarily a primer, but I've been using a lot recently, like before applying my makeup, and I find that it just creates such like a nice base for my foundation to sit on. But I wanted to include this as more of like an extra since it's not actually considered like a priming product. So that product is Egyptian Magic. It's an all-purpose skin cream, so you could use this all over your body basically as like a body moisturizer on like your dry elbows, on your cuticles, on your lips. You could use it as a face moisturizer. There's also very few ingredients in here. There's olive oil, beeswax, honey, bee pollen, royal jelly, and propolis extract. I'm probably saying that last one wrong, but it's just like a very simple product. Now, to be really honest, when I first bought this product, I didn't really like it because I was like slathering this on my face as a face moisturizer when my skin was feeling really dry, and I just found that it was a little bit too heavy for my skin. However, recently I've been using it on my skin before applying my makeup on the areas of my face that I find to be like stupidly dry. For example, on my chin and around my nose. They're always very textured and foundation will rub off of those areas areas first always because of that texture. So I've been taking a little bit of this product, and you can see it's like almost a solid balm, and I will apply that in like my really dry areas on my face, and I find that it makes the biggest difference. I'm gonna be showing you guys my current foundation routine very soon. I'm gonna show you exactly how I use this. So that's it for all of my favorite primers. So now it's time to move on to some of my least favorite primers. Now I just want to say and put it out there that if you love one of the primers that I'm mentioning today, that is amazing, totally cool. These are just primers that really have not worked well for me. So I always say that what floats my boat may not float yours, and vice versa. Always keep that in mind, especially with like foundation and like skincare based products. Those are so personal. So these are really just based on my own experiences. The Milk Makeup Blur Stick. Now I love so many Milk makeup products, but this blur stick really just did not work for me at all. Now this is basically supposed to be a blurring primer. It looks like a large deodorant stick. First of all, I don't really find that it blurred my skin. Instead, I found that it actually pilled really badly on my face. Like it literally would just ball up and basically like fall off my skin. I also found that wherever I applied this product, foundation just like literally would not stick to my skin. It would almost just, again, pill off or not stick properly or fade off really quickly. So for me, this product was just way too finicky, and I just was not able to make it work at all. So the next product that I want to talk about that sort of just confuses me a little bit is the Benefit POREFESSIONAL Pearl Primer. Original POREFESSIONAL, such a cult classic, so I was really excited to see that they came out with a pearl version of the POREFESSIONAL that would not only like smooth your skin but also give you a bit of a glow. And you would expect that because it is called a pearl primer that it would give your skin a pearlescent glow, but it really did not do that at all. Like I saw almost zero glow to my skin when applying this, which is why this product was sort of a dud for me, because it just didn't do what I felt like it was advertised to do. I find this just to be very similar and really not much different than the original POREFESSIONAL. Next up, in one of my least favorite primers, this is the Kat Von D Hydrating Base. Now, I actually spoke about this in my Kat Von D 5 Best and 5 Worst that I did not too long ago, but I figured I would talk about it again since this obviously is a primer video. Being that this is considered a hydrating base, I just did not find this to be very hydrating at all. Like I felt like when I would apply it to my skin, it would feel nice, but it really didn't make my skin feel any more hydrated. And I just feel like there are so many other like hydrating primers out there that actually hydrate the skin and do a really good job. This one, however, just really didn't do much for me. It didn't really wow me. Not my fave. So next up, this is the Tarte Clean Slate Timeless Smoothing Primer. So the main reason why I'm just really not the biggest fan of this primer is the consistency. So as you can see, this is definitely a thicker product. It comes in this little tub. It ain't going anywhere if you hold it upside down. Like it's very thick. It almost feels sort of like putty-like. So because of the texture of the product, I find it to feel very heavy on the skin, and I very rarely ever have issues with products like clogging my pores, but I did have a bit of an issue with this one, and similar to the Milk Makeup Blurring Stick, this stuff just pilled like crazy. Now, I know that a lot of people really like this product, so I don't know if it's just me or like my experience, but for me, it was one of my least favorite primers that I've tried, so that's why I wanted to mention it. But again, like I said, different things work for different people. Just for me, this really didn't jive. So if you find that we like the same types of things, you may not like this. I don't know. So the last primer that I want to talk about are actually two primers. This is sort of like a special category because it's not like your typical traditional type of primer. These are actually considered to be bronzing primers. Bronzing primers are basically used before you apply your foundation, or you could mix it in with your foundation, and it's just supposed to give you like a look of like a faux tan. Bronzing primers are a little bit tricky because if you don't use like the right shade, it could just make your face look orange. It will make your face look like a completely different color than your body. So if you are going to use a bronzing primer, I would suggest only using it in like specific areas on your face, like pinpointing where like you would actually apply bronzer, or just use a bronzing primer that just gives your skin like a subtle type of radiance. These, however, right here are not sheer, they're not subtle, and they make your face look orange. These are like the most confusing products to me. One is really luxe, one is from the drugstore. Let's talk about both. So the first one is this bronzing primer from Tom Ford. This is obviously really expensive. It's from Tom Ford. Please avoid as much as possible. This literally just makes your skin look orange. Do you guys see that? That is like terracotta. That is not like a bronzing shade. This is like orange. Imagine just applying that all over your face and then applying a foundation on top of that. It will make you look sort of like an Oompa Loompa. If you have this and you have made this product work, please tell me how you did it. Another bronzy primer that is just so confusing to me is this one from Maybelline. It's the Gigi Hadid tinted primer, and they have 2 different shades. This one is light medium, and it's sort of like the same deal as with the Tom Ford primer. Now this isn't as bad as the Tom Ford primer. It's not quite as like thick and opaque, like an opaque orange, but it still does give your skin like a really like weird orangey undertone. Now you may be able to like make this work not as a primer but more as like a liquid bronzer if you do want to apply it like on the perimeter of your face, but as an all over face primer I just would not recommend using it that way. But that finishes everything off. I did want to mention, by the way, I know I didn't talk about any like mattifying primers, and that's because I do have a drier skin type and I never ever even go close to mattifying primers because that would just be like a disaster for me. So unfortunately I wasn't able to like give you guys any suggestions for that category. So I just wanted to like put that out there because I'm sure some of you were like, hey, what about mattifying primers? I just like can't give recommendations to products that obviously I haven't tried. But other than that, I really hope you guys found this video helpful and found some primers here that you may be interested in trying out. Again, let me know all of your thoughts down below. If you've tried any of these, what are your thoughts? And if you have any other recommendations that you'd like to tell the class, that would be wonderful. Of course, give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe if you're not subscribed already. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.